First of all, guys, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
How is it to be on Pinkpop?
It's great. We just arrived. The weather is fantastic. We could have been here more. Would have been nice. But it's nice to be here.
What do you mean we could have been here more?
Would have liked to be here more because the weather seems so perfect.
Okay.
Would be cool.
I would have liked to listen a bit more bands, probably.
Yeah.
The bands that played earlier as well. But since that's not going to happen, so we're going to enjoy
What we
today.
get today.
Okay. Now, before we talk about the new record, what is your first musical memory?
First ever.
Yes.
Ooh, first music. Wow. I just remember that thing that I remember my grandfather's trombone. So it's not like an audible memory because I never met him. He passed away before I was born, but his trombone was up on a shelf and it was really high up on a shelf, and it was like this really attracted me all the time, and I wanted to know what it is and what you can do with it. And I wasn't allowed to touch it till I became to a certain age, but that trombone was this magical musical instrument, unreachable thing that I wanted to find out what it is. After so many years, when I was a teenager, I learned to play it. So that's I think that's my first memory connected to music.
Okay. And when did you switch? Why did you stop playing the trombone, or do you still play it?
I played a bunch of brass instruments like French horn, trombone, a bit of trumpet, even tuba. And I played. I just played in a brass orchestra, and then after some time I discovered there was a lot of guitars hanging around at home because my uncle he's a rock star. And he had
Really, who is it? If it's a rock star?
You would know him.
Okay.
He's
Local.
He's a local.
Oh yeah, a local rock star.
Yeah, played in a punk rock band or something, you can say. And we had a lot of guitars at home, and I was a teenager, and then at some point that instrument seemed much cooler to me. so I switched.
It's all about the girls in the end.
Yeah.
But I haven't really stopped playing brass instruments because on our records I still play, and a lot of us have an orchestral background. So our bass player Ivo, he's been playing wind instruments like the clarinet on our records, and I've been playing some sort of brass horns, and then Christian, our drummer, has been playing also like classical percussion things like the timpani or this or that here and there.
Is it your own decision to think about the brass part on the album? From okay, let's put this kind of thing. I don't know which instruments do you play actually on the album?
It's been our collective idea that when we sort of feel that this needs something extra, then we try out the horns. Sometimes we skip it, sometimes we add something. You know, this layering is really, it's a fun process in the recording process.
Yeah. Do you write by yourself the own parts of the brass instruments as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody hears something and then we figure it out like collectively.
Sometimes it's like during the recording process, or when you hear or listen to the mixes, and then you sort of start to hear some things that aren't really there, but you kind of have a feeling that I'm hearing these sounds, and
in my head.
in my head. It sounds funny, and then you try to figure out what is that, and sometimes it's a brass sort of section that comes in, and it's like I keep hearing things, doing some movement in the music, and then you put them in real life, and it's been working out well for us so far.
It's nice to use all these tools that you have. I mean, if we can play those instruments up to a certain level that they sound, you know, they don't hurt really, but you can really listen to them, then why not use the tools that we have?
Yeah, is it also your own inspiration, or do you have inspiration by other artists or brass artists as well? Or?
Sure, I mean there's a lot of bands, great bands that we listen to that use horns too. I think it's a nice addition to this kind of a rocky-ish music, you know, having keyboards and sometimes, you know, electric guitars, and then add the brass to it. I think it's a nice addition to our music.
Yeah. How do you know about the album? The last album was in 2011. It was released in 2011. When did you start with the process of the new album?
I guess what we did start sort of immediately after with a few of the songs. I think 3 of the songs were pretty much
straight after Good Man Down.
Yeah, straight after Good Man Down, and we already played them in our Good Man Down tour quite a lot. But I mean the rest sort of came in the years after. Although quite a few of them sort of came into life in a very late stages of preparing the album, and also in a studio already.
Okay. How did it come that it came late in the preparation?
No, just the songs. We had a bunch of songs with us when we went to the States to record, close to Seattle in Bear Creek Studios. So we had a bunch of songs with us, and we tried them out in that environment in the studio, and then listened back to them. And we left some of them out of the record. And then it was because we wrote some new songs while being over there, and they seemed to fit the whole concept much better than some of the songs that we had brought with us. And also there's some songs that were written for our first album in 2009, and there's 1 or 2 that were even written earlier. So it's you never know what's like. You have to. The album has to be, you know, not just a bunch of songs that you have written in a period, but they have to form a whole with a W.
Okay.
Whole. So that's why we took some pieces from here and there, and also this morning in the hotel, me and Christian listened to some of the songs that were left out from Circles, and that's like. We thought that we should really pick those up because some of them sounded really good, but they didn't like really help the record, so that's why we left them out.
And how do you decide to put that songs you already written, for example, in 2009, to put on a new album? What are the decisions to choose a list of songs?
You just try it out, and you just have to look at the record as this one piece, not something that consists of 10 pieces or whatever. So we just tried out some songs from some really old songs, and they seem to fit the record really well.
Okay. There's also time. Time usually tells. It's some things might not be ready when you actually sort of create them, or they need more time to grow on you, and sometimes the initial idea or the way that you wrote the song or did the song didn't fit at all, and then it takes like 5 years, and then you realize that we can have this in a sort of different setting, and it works so much better, and it actually fits the album. So I guess there are multiple different sort of points that need to be taken in consideration when putting an album together, and you need to wait and see and try out quite a bit.
Is it because of the sound or the theme, or why?
Yeah, it's about different things. I mean, it has to do both with sound and the theme and everything. So I think the album Circles is like, yeah, it needed those old songs too, which didn't fit into The Hills Behind the Hills or Good Man Down. It was just conceptually they fit into Circles much better than the previous albums.
Okay.